This is basically a video of my first real trip to Detroit, and I wanted to show you 10 things that I found that make Detroit pretty doggone awesome. So if you're ready, let's go for it. I gotta start this trip with talking about Motown in Hitsville, USA. Studio A is where all the magic occurred with the incredible artists like the Temptations, the Supremes, and people like Smokey Robinson. It was so amazing to be there in that spot. I grew up in that music, and to be able to be there in that spot, oh my gosh, just so incredibly amazing. I was almost in tears. I was so emotional the whole time. Our next stop was downtown to get a little food and look at the amazing artwork. American Coney Island was founded in 1917 and is celebrated for its Coney Island hot dogs with chili on top. On the architectural front, the Guardian Building stands out as a masterpiece of Art Deco design. The building's lobby features stunning vaulted ceilings and decorative elements that show the elegance and opulence of the Art Deco era. Clearly, the Spirit of Detroit sculpture stands out as the iconic symbol of the city of Detroit. Against the background of a Bible verse from 1 Corinthians, he holds symbols of God and family. The Joe Louis sculpture commemorates the boxer's incredible work in social justice, and I can just imagine that fist coming towards your face. The Transcending sculpture, located in Hart Plaza along Detroit's riverfront, stands as a symbol of the city's resilience and creative spirit. There is other interesting artwork downtown as well as you walk around. The Detroit Institute of Arts is a nationally celebrated art museum established in 1885. One of the museum's most iconic features is its Diego Rivera murals, which were commissioned in the 1930s. I particularly enjoyed seeing the artwork by Van Gogh, but in addition to its permanent collections, it has what they call dynamic exhibitions. And when I was there was a really cool one focusing on black cinema. The museum is an amazing spot, and you could easily spend several hours there. The Heidelberg Project is a cool Detroit folk art installation. There's a time theme that goes throughout it, and it's very unusual, the collection of objects that was put together there. It's definitely worth a stop, very, very unique, and it has become well known even internationally. Should you be interested, I made a separate video on the Heidelberg Project and this next place, Hamtramck Disneyland. Hamtramck Disneyland is kind of a whimsical folk art installation in a small city surrounded by Detroit. It's kind of a kaleidoscope of color and shapes and themes. The centerpiece of the installation is a towering castle, but it's become something of a local favorite for people to come and see. And it's in the process of being brought back to life more and more. One of the biggest surprises about Detroit was Buddy's Pizza. Started back in 1946, Detroit has its own style of pizza, which is incredible and is based on the background of Sicilian immigrants who came to the area. The dough is stretched into a rectangular shape, and the toppings are typically placed in reversed order, with cheese on the bottom followed by toppings.
This pizza is fantastic, but one of the things that I noticed that's particularly different is this crust. It's kind of crispy, crunchy, almost flaky a little bit. It's really, really strong. Here's Josh going for his piece.
Oh, look at that cheese pull right there.
This pizza looks decadent.
So one of the crazy things is just the way that the cheese pulls. So watch this. It's cheesy. I'm sold on Detroit style pizza. That's strong.
Uniroyal Tire is a landmark in Detroit. It was originally in the 1964-65 World's Fair before it was moved to Detroit, and it was a Ferris wheel. And one of my followers, Crazy Larry, said he actually rode it as a boy. The Henry Ford Museum of Innovation is a great museum. So this is a really interesting display. They break down this Model T into its component parts. And it was literally built so that it would be really, really easy to repair. So you could see the components are relatively simple. And people were even able to break down the engine, say on Route 66, because they were simply constructed. This was the actual bus that Rosa Parks' protest happened in. The story behind how they found it is fascinating. And this is the chair that Lincoln was sitting in at the Ford's Theater when he was murdered. In the museum, they have presidential cars, and this is the actual car Kennedy was riding in when he was shot. This one is America's oldest school bus. It's cool too that they have these little wax figure vending machines that I remember as a kid when we would travel places. The Ford Piquette plant was built in 1904 and was in operation until about 1910, but it was the first factory of the Ford Motor Company, and this was the spot where the early development of the assembly line occurred. This is the museum's oldest Model T touring car. Today, the Piquette plant is just a museum of amazingly beautiful and well-restored old cars.
Pops actually fits.
Without any problem, I'm surprised. I thought it'd be a lot smaller. This was my first visit to Detroit, and it's a cool city. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video.